Alright, today I'm going to ride a trail called Deep Step. It's not a trail I ride often, actually. It's one of the trails here at FATS, Fork Area Trail System, where I usually ride. There's 35 miles worth of trails, and there's divided in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 trails. Yeah, 6 trails. So this one I've done once this year, and this is actually the trail where I tried out my second ride on my Suntour XCR Air Fork on my hardtail, and it performed nicely. So you'll be able to see, I didn't record that ride, so with this one you'll be able to see what kind of trail this is and where I was riding that XCR. Take the hard line. But anyways, it's getting a little cloudy. It's not supposed to rain though. It'd be nice if it stays a little cloudy because it is hot outside. I'm riding my Diamondback 4C this time. So I have a Fox 34 150mm travel in the front. Has a fork DPS Evol in the rear, 130mm travel. Very different from the hardtail. We'll see how this trail goes. So I hope you enjoy the video. One of the things I've noticed is, whew, something's dead around here, stinks. My trail riding videos don't get a whole lot of views. So if you guys have any suggestions how to make it more fun, just so you know, I'm not a jumper, plus there's really no jumps on these trails, but maybe how to make it more interesting. I'm going to try different trails, and it's still fun to record them and watch them, and I really enjoy being able to share our trails with people that don't have these kind of trails or just live somewhere else and have never ridden here at FATS. A little air there. Oh, you can see where a lot of people went off that turn, gravel turn there. So for those of you that are new to the channel or just kind of watching for the first time, I am 52 years old. So at 52, can still ride. So all those people out there in the 40s saying, oh man, I'm just too old for this. Nah. When I go on group rides with Sorba, our local bicycling association, mountain biking association, there are riders near or at or over 60 that totally destroy me. I cannot keep up with them. So I'd say some of the best riders in our area are around 60 or 60 something. So really good motivator. And I start thinking to myself, man, I'm getting old for this. Just getting started. Oldest rider I met on the trail about a year ago was 73, and he wasn't just cruising along, he was riding hard. So his advice to me was to never stop, which was probably my biggest mistake. I stopped riding, or I really slowed down to maybe once or twice a month leisurely ride in my 40s. Gained about 30 pounds, developed diabetes. Now I've lost 35 in the past 2 years. I've kept them off. Still have the diabetes, but I'm maybe in the best shape I've been in the last 20 years. And then you guys just starting out in the sport. Also, like I said, if I'm at 52, I can do this, you can too. All right, slow down there. So that was a nice fun downhill. Now I have been riding since the mountain biking, probably since the mid 80s, maybe late 80s. So my first mountain bike was completely rigid fork, no suspension whatsoever. I think what's creaking is my headset. When I pull on the handlebars, you can really hear that crack crack. I'm due for a new one. I have it, I just haven't installed it. Whoa! Tree. I was paying attention to all those branches. Didn't see that rut. that little root garden, I went through that with that Suntour XCR, no problems. More comfortable on this one. But it probably doesn't even look that bad on the GoPro. It's a little tricky, twisty between trees with roots everywhere. And the climbs, whew. I haven't been showing the climbs, but there's a bit of climbing on this trail. And then climbs will have all these roots. This section isn't bad, but and again, sorry about all that clicking my bike is making. It's awful. Let's take to the left. Road less taken. There we go. So sometimes you see those little side trails around the roots. People want to avoid the roots. The original trail went over those roots. And a lot of times I want to go ahead and hit them on purpose, because it's good. It's a good way to practice your skills, your techniques. Because you're not always going to be able to go around those roots. Mud. Ooh, a little slippery. But here, there's no going around the roots. And trail turns left. That was fun. Got a tree down. A little more speed, I could have bunny hopped it. Nah. I can bunny hop like a puddle. Maybe a little one. Now I've gone through some dips that are full of water and mud, like there. So they're my, almost fell, but they're my front tire. Actually, I don't know how, slid into some mud. And then my rear tire, it was pretty slick because my rear tire, as it came around, completely slid out. Able to save it somehow, but it's one of those things where you're not expecting anything. I think it's just some mud under the tine straw, just washed out. It's like, surprise. So you don't get too close to the edge of the trail. There's the toilet bowl I showed in my other video, my first video I did of this trail, and we go downhill. We climb again. Alright, so this was deep step in a nutshell. Not quite done, I got about a mile to go. But this is pretty much deep step. with about 2.5 miles of climbing cut out. But it's a good trail if you want to work on your climbing, since you know our local trails don't, you know, we're not in the mountains or anything, so there's not a lot of climbing compared to some other places. It's a good trail to get a little climbing in there. And we're done. That was 5.5 miles. 5.5 miles.